How to fix CS2 not launching and Steam play button loop. Disable NvCameraEnable.exe. Welcome back to Tenabalta. If you are experiencing the frustrating issue where Counter-Strike 2 refuses to launch, and the Steam play button continuously loops back to its default state, you are not alone. During our extensive laboratory investigation into this specific launch failure, our team discovered a deep-seated conflict involving background rendering processes and Steam's execution handshake. Today, we are sharing our comprehensive diagnostic results and the exact steps to permanently resolve this play button loop so you can get back into the server. Our analysis revealed that Nvidia background camera service heavily conflicts with the Source 2 engine launch sequence. To fix this core issue, navigate to your System32 folder, locate NvCameraEnable.exe and rename it to NvCameraEnable.exe back. This effectively disables the conflicting service without causing system instability, allowing the game executable to clear the launch phase. Sometimes, the Steam client fails to unpack all necessary binaries during a background update. We strongly recommend right-clicking Counter-Strike 2 in your Steam library, navigating to Properties, and executing a verification of the installed game files. Our testing showed that this forces the client to download and replace any corrupted data packets, preventing the launch. Permission blocks frequently prevent the game executable from allocating necessary memory at startup. Right-click the executable file within your local installation folder, open the Compatibility tab, and check the box to run the program as an administrator. This grants the engine the elevated system access required to bypass background security restrictions. Windows attempts to force modern full-screen optimizations on applications, which our testing proved can completely halt the Source 2 rendering pipeline. In the same Compatibility tab of your executable properties, check the box to disable full-screen optimizations. Apply the changes immediately to stop the operating system from aggressively managing the game's display output. Outdated graphics architecture is a primary culprit for sudden application terminations upon launch. We advise utilizing Display Driver Uninstaller in safe mode to completely wipe your current GPU drivers before installing the absolute latest version. This ensures that no legacy registry keys interfere with the newest Vulkan and DirectX API calls. Steam's download cache can hold onto broken manifest files that trap the client in an infinite loop during the boot sequence. Navigate to your Steam settings, select the Downloads tab, and execute the Clear Download Cache command. This refreshes your local connection parameters and forces a clean handshake with the authentication servers. The default DirectX rendering API can sometimes clash with specific hardware configurations during the initial render pass. Open the game properties in Steam and type -Vulkan in the Launch Options box to force the engine to utilize an alternative rendering API. This circumvents the broken DirectX initialization entirely and stabilizes the boot sequence. Corrupted shader caches force the game to freeze before the main menu can even attempt to load. Open the Windows Disk Cleanup utility, select your main operating system drive, and ensure the DirectX shader cache box is checked before executing the cleanup process. The engine will seamlessly rebuild a fresh, error-free cache upon your next successful launch. Injecting the Steam overlay into the engine occasionally causes a fatal thread collision at startup. Within the Steam properties for Counter-Strike 2, toggle off the option to enable the Steam overlay while in-game. Disabling this feature removes a massive layer of background processing that frequently triggers the play button crash loop. Third-party applications like Discord, Riva Tuner, and GeForce Experience utilize background hooks that compete with the game for screen space allocation. Our diagnostic team confirmed that manually closing all background overlays through the Task Manager eliminates these aggressive injection conflicts. Ensure the system tray is completely clear of monitoring software before hitting play. Aggressive heuristic scanning from Windows Defender can silently quarantine critical dynamic link libraries required by the game. Add the entire Counter-Strike 2 installation directory as an absolute exclusion within your antivirus software. This prevents unauthorized file blocking and allows the executable to read its own directories without interruption. The game relies on a specific set of Microsoft libraries to execute its underlying code framework efficiently. Navigate to the official Microsoft download portal, acquire the latest x86 and x64 Visual C++ packages, and install them. Doing this repairs any broken registry links and provides the exact architectural foundation the engine expects. Power-saving states on modern hardware can throttle the GPU during the exact millisecond the game requests maximum rendering power, causing an immediate crash. Open the Nvidia control panel, navigate to manage 3D settings, and switch the power management mode to prefer maximum performance. This guarantees uninterrupted voltage delivery during the heavy initial boot load. Steam Cloud synchronization can pull down corrupted configuration files that instantly terminate the game upon reading. Navigate to your Steam installation directory, locate the user data folder, and temporarily move its contents to your desktop. This forces the client to generate fresh, default configuration files and breaks the corruption loop, forcing the game to load with the absolute minimum graphics settings, allows you to bypass complex rendering crashes. Add -safe to your Steam launch options, which commands the engine to bypass your current configuration and boot into a stable, low-resolution state. Once you reach the main menu, you can safely configure your preferred video settings again. Deep-level operating system corruption frequently mimics isolated application errors. Open an elevated command prompt and execute the sfc scanno command to force Windows to inspect itself. This repairs any core structural files that might be interfering with Steam's execution protocols and restores system stability. Exclusive full-screen state initialization is a highly unstable process on multi-monitor setups. Input-windowed into your launch options to force the application to boot within a standard desktop window. This completely bypasses display scaling errors and prevents the monitor synchronization crash. Windows Fast Startup retains kernel session data that can severely degrade hardware driver response times. Navigate to your control panel power options and uncheck the Fast Startup feature to ensure your system performs a clean hardware initialization. A proper reboot without cached session data often resolves persistent memory allocation failures. Unnecessary background telemetry services often consume the precise input bandwidth the game requires to load its massive map files. Press the Windows key and R, type msconfig, and utilize the Services tab to disable all non-Microsoft background tasks before restarting. This isolates the operating system environment and dedicates all hardware resources directly to Steam. If the internal file structure is catastrophically damaged, piecemeal repairs will simply not work. Uninstall the game through Steam, manually delete any remaining folders in the local directory, and perform a completely fresh installation on a solid-state drive. A clean slate eliminates all fragmented data and guarantees a perfect architectural installation. Don't forget to follow Tenabalta for more.